الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, brothers and sisters. Today inshallah we'll continue our discussion of the Quranic miracles with a very short but sweet example from the 27th juz of the Quran. This is Surah Al-Rahman, chapter number 55, verse number 68. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فيها فاكهة ونخل ورمان. So he says, in them are fruits and date palms and pomegranates. So in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing the fruits of Jannah. Okay, he's describing the fruits of Jannah. And he specifically mentions two fruits. He mentions the date palms and the pomegranates. So out of all of the various fruits that he could have mentioned, he specifically chose to mention the dates and mention the pomegranates. So let's take a look and, think about why this actually is. Well, two possible reasons. First and foremost, the dates and the pomegranates were a favorite fruit of the people of Arabia. Okay, this was something that was available to them and something that they enjoyed. So in this ayah, by mentioning these two fruits specifically, it allowed the Arabs to feel a type of personal connection to these ayah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning that their favorite fruits will be also in Jannah, but they will be better, much better than what they used to eat. So it allowed them to gain a type of closeness to this ayah, and as a result of it, gain more closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, the second reason why these two fruits were mentioned specifically, something that pertains more to us, living in today's day and age when the Quran was revealed thousands of years ago, the fact that these two fruits were mentioned specifically highlights the fact that there must be some importance, some benefits to these fruits in particular. So I did some research on dates and pomegranates, and let's actually see what scientists today have discovered about the properties of these fruits. So first we can start off with the pomegranate. Through various studies, and these are all research articles that were published, they have actually found that pomegranates are a very high source of antioxidants. Now in the previous video I mentioned that oxidation is actually a process that can damage a lot of the cells in the body, and specifically in the arteries. Oxidation is what causes those cholesterol plaques to build up, leading to blockages and potentially heart attacks, So if you have antioxidants, chemicals that block this oxidation process, it actually prevents a lot of the inflammatory process in the bodies from occurring, and there's a lot of healing in that. So, just for example, studies have shown that pomegranates are very beneficial in, preventing diseases such as atherosclerosis, which is hardening of the arteries, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, can help with type 2 diabetes as well. And it can, it can alleviate a lot of these inflammatory diseases that a lot of people, suffer from. So, it's very important that we know this, and that pomegranate actually has a lot of beneficial impacts in our health as a result of these antioxidant properties. Now moving on to dates, dates are actually mentioned in the Quran and in the Hadith multiple times. So through a lot of scientific study of dates, there have actually been a number of benefits that researchers have found out about these fruits. So first and foremost, similar to pomegranates, dates are a very high source of antioxidants. So for the same diseases like pomegranates that are mentioned for pomegranates, dates will also have a benefit in those types of diseases as well. But also a lot of different organ systems. Dates have been found to be protective of the kidney, protective of the liver. They've found to have anti-tumor properties, anti-inflammatory properties, as well as antibacterial properties. Date extracts have actually been shown to prevent various types of bacteria from growing, so they can be antibacterial in a sense as well. And one of the most important properties of dates, something that I actually didn't know before and found very interesting, was that dates are actually very beneficial in the labor and delivery process. Okay, so if a woman is in labor, dates have actually been shown to decrease the amount of time in labor and actually to accelerate the birthing process. And this was published in an article that was, backed by the National Institute of Health, the NIH. Okay, so these are some of the properties of dates that scientific discovery has shown. But one very interesting fact that was mentioned in the Quran about dates is in the chapter of Mary, so Surah Maryam. So this is in the 16th juz of the Quran. This is chapter number 19, verse number 25. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَهُزِّي إِلَيْكِ بِجِذْعِ النَّخْلَةِ تُسَاقِطْ عَلَيْكِ رُطَبًا جَنِيًّا. So this is the verse where Maryam alayhi salam is actually in the process of labor. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives her a command. He says, shake the trunk of the palm tree towards thee. It will drop flesh, ripe dates upon thee. So eat, then drink, and let thine eyes be gladdened. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually instructing Maryam alayhi salatu wasalam when she's in the delivery process to shake the trunk of this palm tree and eat from the dates that fall upon her. So once again, this directly coincides with the study that I mentioned before, that dates are actually very beneficial in the labor and delivery process. And the list is extensive. If I were to mention every single property of these two fruits, we could go on for a very long time. But this short presentation was just to highlight the fact that there's a lot of health benefits in pomegranates and dates, and ultimately Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. And just to give a little bit of a disclaimer, each individual person has a unique health profile. So although this is good general advice, it's always best to consult your physician, before you make any changes in your diet and things like that. Because, just one example I can share, that pomegranate juice has actually been shown to have a little bit of an impact with interaction with drugs and so on and so forth. So it's always best to, talk to your clinician. And if you want to make any changes regarding to any type of diet or anything like that, it's always best to consult them and see what they have to say, because each person has their own individual health profile and health risks as well. So with that, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He allow us to, continue to ponder and reflect upon the Quran and to gain as much as we can from the ayat. And He allow us to benefit from all of the healing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed in these fruits. And He allow us to be thankful for them as well. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.